ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, boys of St. Charles College, and most importantly, the men of the matric class of 2013. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for the opportunity He has given me this year to be the head prefect of such a fine establishment, and for the privilege I've been blessed with by being surrounded by such fine young men for the past 5 years. The year of 2013 has been filled with many trials and tribulations, but one thing has remained a constant. The attitude of the SEC boys has remained one of determination and perseverance. Throughout my high school career, and I'm speaking on behalf of my matric grade, we've been surrounded and nurtured by older boys and mentors who have taught us that it is not about the number on the back of the shirt, but the badge on the front of it. We've been fortunate to have been parts of a brotherhood where while maintaining a sense of respect and admiration for older boys, we are all parts of one family, where if one brother hurts, we all hurt. I'd be lying if I told you it's been smooth sailing all the way. Our grade has had its fair share of issues, but I can say with much pride that they have been dealt with great maturity, and most of the time have ended up in a laugh with the lads. We are a grade of many strong characters, but the synergy developed between all of us has propelled our school to new heights. Thank you to the matric class of 2013 for all the support and friendship. I stand here not as a single person, but purely as a representative for all of you and all you meant to this school. The list of thanks is endless, and I've been blessed by having a support system of such close friends and mentors. To Mr. van Blerk, thank you for your leadership and your insight throughout the year. It has been beneficial for this year's success. To Mr. Bradford, I don't know how you do it, but you are the most cool, calm, and collected manager ever. Your work behind the scenes and make sure that our school functions to its optimum potential, and I want to thank you for everything you have done for the well-being of the boys. I would like to thank Mr. Holcomb and Mr. Null for all the work they have put into our matric grade and prefect body. The year would not have worked without your careful guidance and advice you gave us. To Mr. Naidu, first of all, I would like to congratulate you on your marriage and want to wish you and Mrs. Naidu all the best as you go into the future. At the beginning of my tenure, you gave me some of the best advice I think any leader could ever receive. Set aside an hour a week where you take nothing seriously. In other words, be a clown. Not only has this managed to keep me going when times are tough, but it has given me a much better perspective on things. A big thank you should also go to Mr. Lutke, Mr. Ritchie, and Mr. Carlson for all their efforts in making sure we are competing against the best at all times. To Mr. Smith and Mr. Allen, I do not think you are given enough credit for making sure that the grounds are impeccable at all times and can be compared to the best in the country. I can stand here all night and list staff that have made an impact here at the school because they all have. This institution has prided itself on maintaining high educational standards, and this could not be done so without your efforts. On the staff side, last but certainly not least, I'm sure he knows he is, the one and only Mr. Barry. The staff member with the most nicknames ranging from Sheldon Cooper to the Barry Master through to Physics God. Sir, it has been most entertaining being in your class for the past 4 years. From hearing you rant about your poor attendance at 4th team hockey practice, or you raving about how clever Mark Ortman is. I want to thank you for the valuable life lessons you have taught me, with a bit of physics in between, that I should always back myself and have confidence in everything I do. I'm deciding to break the trend tonight and not talk about my Zingela experiences. It's not that I didn't enjoy the program and the many stories that can be told. I just thought I'd speak about something different, perhaps the class dynamic in a matric classroom on any given day, and mention a couple of the lads that have become known for certain antics. The banter in our grade has been priceless, and there are some stories I will never forget. If you were to walk into a chemistry classroom, you'd probably hear dead silence with boys' heads in their books under the watchful eye of Miss Line. However, if you looked a bit closer, you'd probably spot Michael McCulloch eating biscuits or a sandwich, trying to muffle the sound of the wrapper from getting Mam's attention, or Avishkamani feeling his bicep to see if he still had muscle pump from yesterday's workout. Maybe you'd be lucky to spot Ben Philpott on the other side of the classroom. Now, Ben is honestly one of the coolest guys I've ever met. and as a man of very few words, sometimes none, Ben has taught me the gift of silence while still managing to maintain his own in every situation. Geography class would reveal a much different atmosphere. David Null would be asleep on the desk, hidden behind Mr. White's computer. Meanwhile, Justin Goldstone would be taking pictures, posing behind Mr. White as he worked. Walking into math, the first thing that would strike you is Mr. Ngwenya's recurring habit to refer to himself in the third person. While never forgetting to remind you that Thursday is test day. As those menacing words sound, Nhlokoma Mayasela, fashionably late, would stroll in. Mr. Ngwenya, never one for tardiness, would reprimand him, but this never helped. To this day, Mayasela, without fail, arrives late for school. Who can forget a certain incident that occurred in grade 9 English? I will keep the teacher's name confidential, but will let it be known that Justin Goldstone is the main culprit here, as usual. Our set book was Private Peaceful, and there was a scene in the book where one of the two brothers dies. Fair enough, it was a touching moment and brought tears to our teacher's eyes as she read it to us. Not having any of this, Justin promptly sprayed his eyes with water, pretended like he was crying, walked to the front of the classroom and asked the teacher if he could have some toilet paper and be excused to gather himself. This was not the end of Justin's English antics, and when he got to grade 11, some say he fell in love with his teacher, Mrs. O'Leary. This love extended so far as to him writing Mrs. on his one bicep, and then O'Leary on the other, and then giving her a flex the one day in class. Justin, no matter how much we've argued, brother, I cannot take it away from you that you have made me laugh from day one. You're a true Christian example, and I admire the way in which you live your life with such spontaneity and confidence. The list of stories I come from our grade are endless. I've been blessed to have gone on many tours with the college, and this is where a lot of the mischief occurs. I will try and share as much as I can, but you must understand boys are boys, and a lot of the stories are a tad inappropriate for such an auspicious evening. Water polo tour down to Selborne in grade 11 and 12 were some of the funnest times I've ever had. From the famous Laura Foley to number 12 being a ... i.e. Gordon Ray. The water polo community, and especially first team, has been a great experience to be a part of. I think Cameron Chubb deserves a special mention for getting the most kickouts and cap-offs this season, and also giving the Klufal guard that infamous thumbs up and Lackerman after he'd probably just punched him under the water. Chubb, thank you for being one of my oldest friends, and together with Matt Jukes, I believe we have made the Eastern community very proud. To my grade 11s, I've been asked many times this year what my biggest challenge has been, and this is my message to you as you step into leadership roles. Leadership has nothing to do with position, power, or status. Leadership is about influence, and this is influence that has to be earned. This influence can only be gained through integrity, humility, compassion, and consistency. Leading is more of a responsibility than a right. Quoting from an article written by Brand Pretorius, taken from his book In the Driving Seat, I'd like to share some words that were valuable to me this year. I quote, "I realized that leadership is about raising people's sights to make them see what they were unable to see in the first place, and then helping them to achieve more. I want to challenge you, young men of St. Charles, to take up the offer of leadership tonight, be it with a badge or not, and not only change the school, but go out and make a difference in your communities." I would not be standing here if it were not for my own personal mentors, friends, and family. Firstly, to my prefects and heads of council, thank you for all the hard work and effort you have put into this year. I want to thank you for all the sacrifices you have made, and want to applaud you for the way you have balanced your lives with duties, academics, and sport. To my deputies, Paul, Viwe, and Christian, this time last year, 4 of us sat up there on the benches knowing that this was going to be a team effort, and I want to thank you for all the support you have given me and each other. A lot of the time you were working behind the scenes and taking little or no credits, for your work. Please know that I appreciate everything you have done and admire the enthusiastic leaders you are. To Mr. Markham, Mr. Orwin, and Mr. Bauer, I want to thank you for all the mentoring and advice you have given me this year, and just in general throughout my school life. It has been great knowing that there was always just a teacher I could go to with anything, whether it be advice on a certain situation or just a cup of coffee. To Pascal Van Huffel, Charles Malanga, the Dlamini twins, and Michael Day, a special thank you goes out to you guys for the countless chats and advice on practically anything. And yes, Pascal, thank you for the numerous Friday evening McDonald's trips. I've looked up to you guys since I arrived here in grade 8, and we are really blessed to have such genuine guys on our staff here at St. Charles. To Maddie De Beer, thank you for the years of friendship and support. It has been a pleasure getting to know you, and you've really become that little brother I never had. To my right-hand man, Tata Molefe, brother, I owe you so much for this year. Not only have you kept me on the right path, but it has always been comforting knowing that I would have you there to tell it exactly how it is. Thank you for your clear, concise thinking and advice, and I know you are destined for great things. Mum and Dad, I don't think there are words to describe how grateful I am to both of you. Mum, you have always been there, no matter what. You have been selfless in everything you do, always behind the scenes, never taking credit. I owe a big part of this year to you, and I want to thank you for the many sacrifices you have made on my behalf. To my old man, thank you for understanding. I must admit I came home sometimes frustrated, and you bore the brunt of this. Thank you for always having a way out, for caring, and for being there in my times of need. You have taught me so much this year about life and myself. You are a true role model. Jean-Andre Erasmus, my best friend. Thank you for all the moments we have had over the past 5 years. This year has put a lot of strain on our friendship, and I want to thank you for your patience and understanding. Words cannot... never mind. Words cannot describe how much I cherish you, and your thoughts have been a really grounding basis for me this year. Thank you, Jean. In closing, I'd just like to say how proud I am of everyone in my matric grade. It has been an absolute pleasure getting to know you guys over the past 5 years, and I know many friendships forged here will last a lifetime. I just want to emphasize how thankful I am for all the friendship and support you guys have given me. This evening is about you, and as you go into the real world, take heed in the fact you're a St. Charles boy. Rely on the firm foundation the school is leaving you with, and in the words of Aristotle, excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We do not act rightly because we have virtue or excellence, but rather we have those because we have acted rightly. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Thank you, and I truly wish you a blessed evening. Good night.